right, everybody. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here. And of course, I'm joined as always with my co hosts, Darian Smith and Jimmy Marion. And we've got a great episode planned for you guys today. But before we get started, this episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast is brought to you by Cahaba Brewing Company. And today we're going to spotlight their Mexican lager. Their Del Rio, really fine Mexican lager, really smooth. Grab you a lime peel to go with it. Only 4.5% ABV, so you can have a couple while you're sitting at the pool or down at the beach. Just a great overall beer. So head on down to the tap room, or you can go to your local supermarket and pick up a 6-pack of the Del Rio Mexican Lager by Cahaba. But also, big things ahead for Cahaba Brewing Company. I noticed that they dropped a teaser of their new beer coming soon, and a hazy IPA. So we're going to let them make the official announcement, but hopefully, soon, swing by to the tap room either this week or next week, and you should be able to try that beer. I believe they're calling it the River Haze. But also at the tap room this Saturday, they're having a seafood festival. So they've got a couple of food trucks to go along with their food truck. The Current at Cahaba, they're going to have some great seafood, live music. So definitely stop by the tap room and tell them that you heard about Cahaba through the Blazer Victory podcast. But thank you again for Cahaba for sponsoring the podcast and sponsoring this episode of the Blazer Victory podcast. YouTube, we are just 14 subscribers away from 200. So please, I know y'all hate to hear this. If you're audio only, please just click on the link in your show description to just go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube so we can get over that hump and get to 200 plus subscribers on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is at Blazer Pod, but you can just Google Blazer Victory YouTube and that will take you there, or just click your show notes. There will be a link in the description. But guys, all that out of the way, UAB basketball, just a few months away from tipping it off. We don't have the full schedule. We're probably a couple months away from getting that full schedule. But certainly high expectations for this 2024-2025 team here at UAB and Andy Kennedy. But before we get into kind of discussing our expectations for that team, we just wanted to talk about the importance of NIL, especially as it pertains to UAB basketball. If you're listening or watching right now and you're a UAB fan and you have not became a member of the Southside Solution, what are you waiting for? Guys, this is really important and vital to the UAB basketball program going forward, especially in the new conference AAC year 2. Join the Southside Solution. It helps support the Blazer basketball program so much. And as we see college athletics, the way everything is trending right now, you're either going to have the haves or the have-nots. And Andy Kennedy has worked his butt off, and so have a lot of people. But this program is at a great place right now, but we all know that we can take this thing higher. That means butts in seats, season tickets. If you haven't renewed your season tickets, or if you haven't gotten season tickets, go ahead and do that. But definitely join the Southside Solution. You can go to UABcollectives.com, but we're also going to put a link in the show description to where you can just click the link, and go ahead and sign up and become a member of the Southside Solution. But Jimmy, I'm going to throw it to you. How important, in your opinion, is NIL, especially for this UAB basketball program entering year 2 of the American Athletic Conference?
Well, I'll shy away from saying that it's everything because I don't want to be over dramatic here, but it's important for a lot of different reasons. Right now, you mentioned the transition for UAB to the American Athletic Conference to continue the momentum for UAB basketball. Right now, you've got a sitting head coach and alum and Andy Kennedy and a rock star staff that's winning a ton of games here at UAB. But UAB fans cannot become stagnant. We have to continue to do everything that we can, and that's opening up our pocketbooks. I know there are probably some listening and thinking, well, we just continue to get asked to spend more and more money. And unfortunately, that's a reality that all three of us are a part of as well. And that's just a reality, going back to what John was talking about earlier, of the college landscape today. So if you want to see UAB continue to win basketball games, we're going to have to continue to step up monetarily to assist in those efforts. If you want to have this rock star staff stay at UAB for the longevity, for the long term, this is what coaches are looking for. You think about job searches, what would be important things for you to consider looking at another job? Well, speaking for college basketball coaches, that's what they're looking for. What does the NIL pool look like at a university and for a program? And so if you want to keep Andy Kennedy and the staff here, if you want to retain players like Yaxel Lindenborg at UAB, if you want to attract future ones, it's not just about culture. It's not just about NIL. It's not just about winning. But when you add all those things in and you look at the whole grand scheme of things, NIL is going to play a significant role. Now, I will say, just pertaining to the Southside Solution, you can become a member for as low as $10 a month contribution wise. We all know with the way things are today, spending $10 on just about anything, I mean, it's just, you're going to spend $10 to go to the convenience store. So from a commitment standpoint, you can do $10 here. You can do a one-time gift, you can throw $100 here and then, just do it one time. But that $10 commitment's not too big of an ask, my personal opinion. And you also get access to, I don't know if it comes along with that $10 contribution, but you get access to exclusive events as being a contributor to Southside Solution. And last thing I'll say, for anyone that's worried about all the different NIL collectives pertaining to UAB, the legitimacy of that, just look who's retweeting stuff about Southside Solution. I mean, just connect the dots, if you will. If you have the basketball staff that's like retweeting and liking stuff about Southside Solution, you can feel confident and feel at ease that this is a legitimate thing. So just again, to wrap all that up, if you're not doing it today, it is extremely important. And we ask for all of our supporters to consider doing a one-time gift or any contribution starting as low as $10 a month.
And Darian, before we throw it to you, the Blazer Victory podcast, we've discussed NIL here and there, but really we want our listeners. We know we've been getting the questions from our listeners, our viewers on YouTube. Where you see us at a watch party, you ask us about it. For UAB basketball, Southside Solution is the way to go. In the show description, there's going to be a direct link that's going to take you to that page, and we strongly urge you to become a member of Southside Solution. And again, hey, Southside Solutions ain't paying us. I mean, it's we just realize, we as fans, we want to take this UAB basketball program to the next level. And in my opinion, in our opinion, the only way we're going to do that is by growing the NIL, and that's through Southside Solution. Will UAB quickly be at a Memphis level? Probably not. But we sure as hell better be above East Carolina or Tulsa, Charlotte. We need to be at least middle of the pack in this league if we're going to take this seriously. If we're not going to take this seriously, I mean, why did we make the jump from CUSA to the AAC after all? So, but Darren, what are your thoughts on or Jimmy, do you want to say something real quick?
No, I was just laughing. I was just thinking about all of our ECU and Tulsa listeners. They're gonna just catching strays right now from John.
the 5 or 10 we have, and we'll get to the Memphis thing. But how is it? Like, it's a freaking joke that everybody's predicting them to already win the AAC. Like, that's a freaking joke. But we'll get to that anyway. But Darren,
based off of honestly just kind of looking, I don't know. I look at their roster and I look at ours. I'm like, I don't get it. But
no.
But anyway, as pertaining to NIL, I appreciate y'all for the clarification, right? Because there has been a lot of confusion with like the other collectives, and and then you see some collectives do some things, and all of a sudden they're not doing those things. But the biggest thing is they aren't communicating, with people that that support, but that have supported them. But the Southside Solution, one thing about them is that they've been around for a while now, and they have been pushing for a while. They didn't have all the flash, the bells, and the whistles, but they've always been consistent and reliable. And if that's one thing to believe in, and you believe in that. Secondly, I want to preface everything by there has been like mass kind of shift onto the supporters of programs, like way more in the past. So I'm gonna say this: I always believe in the family first motto. So if you have family and you have a tight budget and this economy is crazy, don't give no money. Not yet. Get yourself right, because I care about you first. And I feel like people push too much, like, oh, you need to, no. My kids need to eat and I need to pay my freaking bills, right? Priorities are everything. So I care about the priorities first. If you want to help, but you're not in the position to help right now, sharing the information. You probably are connected with somebody that got a boatload of money that love this program and they don't know anything about the Southside solution. So you may be the key to unlocking something that you didn't know the power that you had because of the person you are. I'm never going to put somebody's face to the fire to say, give to this program. This program isn't helping you with your bills right now, right? But once you get in position and you climb up that corporate ladder, or you get through that schooling and you become the great Blazer support that you want to be, oh yeah, open up that checkbook, baby. Go ahead and give as much as you please. You know, I just wanted to make sure I let that know, because there has been a shift, and sometimes I feel like some people feel too pressured, like, oh, I gotta give, and I don't want to be that type of fan base. I care about us first. I care about the people first. And I think when you show that you care about the people first, then people will willingly give, especially when they can. Some of us, like me, got a whole bunch of kids, but I'm still able to give right now. Or you got some people that are young, still making it through, or some people going through hard times. So I just want to make sure we keep the main thing, but then we get to the next main thing, which is Southside Solution and supporting this team. Because we got a lot of rock stars on this team, roster-wise. The coach, the coaching staff, we've been able to keep them. We've been very stable. But we also, I hate that we do have to bring up Memphis, but I mean, Memphis they put a lot into their program. They put butts in seats, and they do give a lot of capital back to that program. So in many ways, I just saw that in football, they just had a quarterback, 4-star quarterback, choose them over Florida, right? And there's no coincidence that they just got that FedEx $50 million.
That's what it is, man. The FedEx money, man.
Come on, man. You going straight head to head with Florida. You're a 4-star hot prospect with offers all throughout the SEC. You chose Memphis. After all of that, I mean, we know what's going on. But I say that to say, like, that's part of college athletics. So just more than just the fans, if anything, businesses is what I'm really looking. Any business and business relations. If we can get something like that going, I believe in this UAB program so much because the location and the passion of the fans. I think the potential is very unlimited here. If they can do what they do down in Tuscaloosa, and I know that's been over years and years and years and years, and it's like a lot of money coming through there, like so much, especially coming out of Birmingham over the mountain. It's a lot of money going into Tuscaloosa. But if we can really start to shift that here, because we're here in Birmingham, that can do so much to impact the people here, the economy here. It's just way more than just basketball or football. So if we can get those business people to really, more than, like I said, more than just the fans, I think that's where everybody will follow that. That's the big money that you really want all of those. So, man, if we can tap into that, that'd be awesome. So if you have the connects, make a connection somewhere.
Yeah, well said, Darren. And I'm so glad, obviously we're not Alabama or Auburn. This is UAB, and you're not going to be Alabama or Auburn, but this is a great opportunity for a local Birmingham business to get a good return on the investment, to get in with this basketball program that's, I mean, we saw the Charles Vaughn article. I mean, it's one of the top basketball programs in the NCAA. Like they're doing great things on the hardwood in the South Side, and they expect to do even more great things this year. And let's transition into, okay, we get Yaks back, we get Butter back, we get AJ back, we get all these pieces back for this 2024-25 season. And then we add the guys that we added to this roster. Obviously, it is June 26th. So we're sitting here months in advance. Don't even know what the full schedule is going to be. Don't know what a full non-conference slate is going to be. But, Jimmy, wouldn't you say expectations are high this year for Andy Kennedy and the UAB basketball program?
Yeah, no doubt. Starting with the reasons that you just stated, the returning production, the talent acquisition in the portal that AK and Ryan Cross and Rob Williams were able to get, a new assistant coach, right, Chris Shoemate. So they were able to return key players and then add that talent around them. And then when you look at the roster construction, when you think about the experience, how many seniors and upperclassmen are on this team, that's what you see a lot of times, at least you used to, with these teams that were in the non-power leagues that made NCAA tournament runs or, could creep in the top 25, is that they were senior led. So just the chemistry that returns, and for all those reasons, expectations should be extremely high. And even if that all weren't to be true, I selfishly believe as a UAB basketball fan that expectations should be high no matter what, no matter who's the coach, no matter who's on the team, because of the winning tradition. That's what was so difficult for those years in which it was like, hey, we're winning 20 games and that should be good enough. And it wasn't for the diehard fans, because context was important, the level of opponent and competition, and 20 wins isn't even enough to get into the NIT, a tournament in which teams turn down, they don't want to play in. So yeah, expectations should be super high. I know we're going to talk a little bit about schedule and things like that. I think, as always, what's difficult for the audience that wants to say it's NCAA tournament or bust is just the path of getting there. It's so important to, I almost want to say, give your team insurance by having the schedule that would be necessary to put yourself on the bubble. And some pessimist out there may say, well, we won't make it no matter who we play and who we got to win the tournament or the conference tournament. But it's going to be very important that this UAB basketball team does everything that they can to present those opportunities and to take advantage of those opportunities, some of which we've missed in recent years. But we've been fortunate because this staff and this team has played their best ball in March, and that's resulted in winning 2 out of the last 3 conference championships, one being in Conference USA and one the American Athletic Conference. But expectations should certainly be high. And again, I would argue for this UAB basketball program, that's a place that we should be, that's a mental state that we should have no matter who's on the floor and who's coaching, just because of our winning tradition.
Well said, Jimmy. And also with the scheduling, we'll get to that. We just know a couple games, but it is so, I don't know if us fans realize how hard it is to get a good non-conference schedule for a mid-major program. A lot of teams will not even answer the call. They'll be like, well, we ain't playing y'all. I mean, we know you're going to be good next year. Or you can come here, but we're not going to go to Bartow. We're not going to go to Bartow and lose. Why would we risk that? So it is especially hard for a mid-major to get a tourney-worthy resume schedule. I mean, your conference schedule is going to be set by the league. So hopefully, you're going to get Memphis twice, South Florida. You're going to play the good. They're going to try to stack up the good teams with the good teams, so you can develop a good net ranking. That's what they go by. But I believe there are 351 basketball programs in Division One, and you only get what 60? How many spots in the NCAA tournament? Was it 60? Hold on, let me look.
It's 68
It's
right now, isn't it?
68. Man, that is so low. And the Power Four. Well, our Power Five, if you include the Big East with the Power, I guess you do. They're going to gobble up a lot of those at-large spots. So it is even harder for a team to create the schedule that's worthy if you can go and get wins to get that at-large ranking. But Jimmy, you mentioned it perfectly. There have been some missed opportunities last couple of years. Whether it be at West Virginia a couple years ago. Last year, what was the game last year that we dropped? That we were like,
We
well,
had we had West Virginia at the BJCC one of the years. We had last year we played the MTE, and I do believe we won on day 2, but we lost on day 1, right? I think we beat.
Clemson.
Yeah, we were perfect example, right? That Clemson game was right there. Wasn't that the phantom foul, Darian? Wasn't it at the very end we got called for a foul late and they put the guy at the line?
What's the PJ? I forgot his last name, but yeah, PJ Hall. Yeah, man.
Yeah. They had a great team. But you think about like that. That's the kind of game early in the season, that opportunity that we could have easily won. And that was like a resume booster because you saw what Clemson did. Like they overperformed. They had a coach in the hot seat and they overperformed. And that would have been something that would have helped carry us for a long time. Maryland didn't do as well. We won that game, so that didn't help as much.
We lost another team early in the season by like 1 or 2 points. I can't remember the team. I remember that dude was hitting the corner 3. Did we? I can't.
Shoot! It was the first game of the season. Who was it?
About Bradley?
Yeah, Bradley. Yeah.
Yeah. Bradley, and this team did take advantage of opportunities, specifically in conference play against Memphis and FAU, and they won against Drake, which was key. Last year was kind of more about just that couple of weeks in which the team was really struggling, and it was almost more about the losses at the time, the blowout to Arkansas State and the home losses.
And McNeese, Southern Miss.
The McNeese was also a missed opportunity though too. I don't know where they landed. Actually, I do. McNeese ended KenPom at 67. So they were super high, and we had them at home, and that would have been a resume building opportunity. So there's just been a few of those. Like, you only get so many opportunities. It's hard to say, hey, this team must be locked in 24/7 and go 32-0 or whatever the situation is. That's not true, but you've got to avoid those really WTF losses, and you've got to take advantage of those games against the middle of the pack power conference teams, those opponents that we get in our schedule. We play at Kansas State, potentially. They're in the MTE that UAB plays this upcoming season. If we were to get matched up against them, they're an arguable top 30, top 35 team in the country. You get them on a neutral court. You hope that you can knock off a team like that, and that would maybe help propel you later in the season. Those are the types of ones that if we get that opportunity, hopefully we can take advantage of it and let that be a part of our resume.
Yeah, and let's just go ahead and talk about the games that we know. Obviously, another chance at Southern Miss coming to Bartow in November. You've got the MTE in the Virgin Islands in that field, ULL, George Washington, Kansas State, McNeese State potentially, Illinois State, Liberty. So good opportunities there. Then you get the return trip to Drake for the game last year in Birmingham. You got to go to Drake. I mean, that still should be a really good mid-major team, even with the coaching change and roster turnover. They consistently have good teams. Middle Tennessee, it's just a good local, or not too far away game. And then Arkansas State, we know what happened last year in Jonesboro, and they ended up being a pretty good team. At the time that we played them, they were terrible. But it seems to be after they beat us, they kind of went on a roll to nearly qualify as the Sun Belt team in the NCAA tournament. But Darian, what are your thoughts just expectations for this 2024-2025 team as we're sitting here in June?
Yeah, so what I'm encouraged by is a couple things. How we ended the season one. You know, we won the freaking tournament. The AAC tournament. We got to the big dance, and we performed well against a very good team. That game went down to the wire against San Diego State, and we got some valuable experience there. So I'm encouraged by that. Two, people got to understand that half of that season, we didn't even know what type of team we were. We had a whole bunch of new guys from JUCO, and we were just trying to figure it out. So a lot of those losses came during times where we was switching in lineup. Some of the guys that played valuable time ended up not even on the team, like James White. And we were going through so many periods of transition of just trying to see who plays where, and that's just what we had to go through. By the time we ended the season, we had all of that figured out, right? We had those rotations, and we were just confident. We found an identity in who we were, and we were able to ride that, right? And we bring all of that returning production back, but those pieces were the major pieces that we had to fit together. And so now we can plug and play those talented pieces. Now we know where to put them. We don't have to figure it out and do all of this. No, we know what we have. That is so important when you already have an identity and you can just plug and play pieces. Lastly, a lot of those guys that had to figure it out, they were raw. Like Yaks, we talk about it all the time. They were raw. How many times they're going to talk about Christian Coleman working at Walmart? Right? How many times are they going to talk about? But all that to say is, like, a lot of these guys were raw and still in the process, and still are in the process of developing. So now you give guys like that a full offseason to not only work on their game, but they still to work on their cohesiveness. Now we have a team, and then a lot of those guys that committed are seniors like Tyron Moore and Gordon. Those guys came because they saw the team. It was like, I know what I can do in this system. They believe in Coach Andy Kennedy's vision. And now they know where they can fit. It's easy. Big Z, Izuru, right? He talked about how he envisioned, okay, I can do that. I can play this role, and I can do it at a higher level than I think it was played. So I'm so excited about that. Like, no, this team has a clear another level. Like, I expect us to be better way earlier. So I expect the team to be like almost at the start of the year. I expect the team at the end of last year. So you take that team and you make it better by the end of the year. My expectations I would say, are high. I'll just leave it at that. My personal expectations are high just because of the thing that I just stated.
You think maybe, of course, we're still sitting in June, but do you guys maybe second week of the tournament? Maybe a Sweet 16?
Yes, why not?
Yeah.
Got a senior-led team and that's talented, and you can clearly tell that the staff said, okay, we're going for it. So they brought in senior guys. Forget all of that. We'll worry about the rest. We'll worry about the year, the 2026. We'll worry about that later. Right now, this is our moment, and they've went all in. I just saw that the New York Knicks traded for Mikal Bridges from the Nets. They traded 4 first-round draft picks or 5 first-round, something crazy, like a whole bunch of because they said this is our moment and we're going for it. That's what UAB said. You know what? We'll pick up a freshman here and there. We need these seniors, and we're going for it. And Jimmy spoke about our moments and the moments we've missed. I don't want to miss another moment. And I don't want to pretend like I don't want to do the whole thing where it's like, oh, well, we'll get them next time. Forget all of that. UAB, we want our moment, and we feel like this is our moment. So let's go take it. We missed our moments in football. We missed our moments in basketball. No, I want to have a special run. I want to go to the Final Four. Forget it. Let's just go all the way with it. As far as we can go. stop missing our moments. Let's take it and let's build some real momentum behind this program.
Ski, baby, let's go. Let's go. I love it. Jimmy, any final thoughts? But we are probably going to need to wrap this.
No, man, I was going to say, as it relates, I mean, you got to stay healthy. You got to get in. You got to get a matchup where you're not facing like a 5 seed. It should be like a 2 or a 3 seed, so you got to have some things go your way. But, this team with some additional shooting, and that's going to be coming from a Tyron Moore, with his ability. And then you've got all this chemistry and you've got all of this just coming back and the surrounding talent. And I just feel like the big guards that we have and that we went after, even you look at a guy, we talked about him recently, like Reginald Kennedy, who may not, play in year one, but the type of physical attributes that they get, that Kennedy goes after with these guards, when things get locked down and tight, I think we're going to be able to play good defense in March. So you got the star player. I want to see Yax come out, and I know that he can, like in that first weekend of the tournament, and look like, who was the guy, Ladie? Like just how he went beast mode. He was just hitting it, he hit from 3, hit from mid range, take you out under the basket. I think that Yaxel can have that kind of impact for us, and so yeah, why not? We've been 2 out of the most 3 recent years. We've lost in the first round. Third time's, why not the third time? So I think this team is built for March this upcoming season. I can't wait to see what this team's going to be able to do.
And YouTube, let us know, comment, what are your expectations for this upcoming basketball season for UAB, and how excited are you to watch these guys this season? But programming note, we will be back in a couple days on the patreon.com/blazerpod. Got to talk about the recent event on a wide receiver in UAB's program, and what does the wide receiver room look after that situation? Again, $5 a month gets you access to all premium content. Patreon.com/blazerpod. So you will get that in your feed probably Friday morning, but we'll see. But also, reminder, join Southside Solution. Click that link in the show description and go ahead and join to support the UAB basketball program and drink Cahaba beer. But until next time, guys, just blaze.